Hello there, Mr. Ranga. My name is Andika Putabiansyah, and I will be doing the fifth video project of active listening skill. Part 1. The first audio was a part of a university lecture by a professor. The topic was the possibility of life on Mars. The professor began his lecture by giving an explanation about Mars. He called the planet Mars the Red Planet. Mars has been a topic of speculation for more than 100 years. An Italian astronomer by the names of Giovanni Schiaparelli drew the first reasonable realistic map of Mars, and he gave a system of canali across its surface. The idea of canali, which means channels in the Italian language, with the help of fertile imaginations, turned into the concept of complex planet-wide irrigation system. The professor then added more to the topic by saying that most astronomers did not believe in this idea, as they thought that it was impossible to live there, as humans will not withstand the temperature on Mars. But in the 1916, NASA Mariner missions sent back images of something very different of a cratered moon like Mars. This new image give new information about Mars. The atmosphere turned out to be almost pure C02, and its density was only a bit different than Earth. Mars became more interesting. It had blooming plant life, giant volcanoes, a vast maze of canyons, and flowing water. The professor said that despite all of this, scientists still continue to observe Mars and look under the Martian rocks. Next, the professor mentioned the Viking missions in 1976 and three biological experiments. The first was the labeled release experiment. The second was the pyrolytic release experiment. And the third was the gas exchange experiment. These experiments were launched to detect life forms on Mars, but none of them were successful. But from this experiment, scientists are considering the possibility that Mars once had life, that it went extinct when the condition there got worse. The worst. The last topic from the professor was about a meteorite called ALH 84001, which was discovered in Antarctica in 1984 and was believed by scientists that it came from Mars based on its age and composition. This meteorite carried three pieces of evidence for life on Mars. It carried polylytic aromatic hydrocarbons. It had tiny carbonate globulus that resembled mineral alteration on Earth, and very tiny nanometer ovoids. These were strong evidence for the existence of life in Mars past. Part 2. The second audio was a part of a university lecture by a drama professor. The topic was the general idea of the nature of the No theater of Japan. The professor explained that No was a difficult art to categorize. It had unique songs and dance, only one main character that wears a very distinctive mask with a very secondary character and a chorus. Even few Japanese can understand the language used in No dialogue. The professor said that watching a No play will always be a pleasure, the quiet, elegant, visual and auditory beauty of the performance. Next, the professor explained the stage of the drama in No theater. It was played on a single square platform with a single painted pine. The audience watched the drama at the front side of the stage, and on other side was a covered ramp that led off stage. The ramp symbolized the transition between the real world and the spiritual world, and there are large jars under the ramp. The professor said that these were the many interesting features of most No stage. The next topic was the history of No art. It was called Sangaku, a whole trope of entertainment like acrobatic, magic, juggling, song and dance. It arrived from China and was often performed at shrines and festivals. And then there was a Dengaku, a form of rituals and ceremonies performed by incantation masters, and it was from Japan. The professor added more to the topic by mentioning the influence of Sangaku and Dengaku in evolving the art of theater during Japan's Muromachi period. A father and a son named Kanami and Zaami created Nogaku, a much refined, elegant theatrical art with the combined elements of Sangaku and Dengaku. This was a great period of creativity and imaginative growth in No, said the professor. The works of Zami caught the eyes of the shogun Ashikaga Yoshimitsu, and the shogun gave them his support. From this, No theater became super famous, and even the great Oda Nobunaga himself became a No enthusiast. Other than him, followed by Toyotomi Hideyoshi and Tokugawa Ieyasu. The last topic by the professor was Mugen no, a fantasy no in which the main character is supernatural, something like a demon, a god, or a ghost. The most popular Mugen is Lady Aoi, a story from the 11th century novel, The Tale of Genji. Lady Aoi was famous because of its intriguing story, highly stylized integration of dance, song, poetry, and percussion. Other than that, the spoken words are elongated in a complex, structured chant. The audio ended with the professor commenting that no is difficult to understand, but it is worth the effort to try to appreciate this unique dramatic art. And part 3, the third audio was a part of a university lecture by a professor in the College of Fine Arts. The topic was discussing perspective in art, especially in a way that artists represent three-dimensional objects on the two dimensions of their canvas. The professor then explained the two basic sort of visual perspective. The first one was aerial perspective. Aerial perspective is the way that the atmosphere affects how we see things, especially distant things. For example, it could make a mountain in the distance appear to be a different color. The second one was linear perspective. Linear perspective is the way that things seem to get smaller the farther away they get, until they vanish in a point on the horizon, and this point is called the vanishing point. Next, the professor explained about the vanishing point. Sometimes an object might have more than one vanishing point. A vanishing point could change based on our perspective. The professor gave an example of this topic by visualizing a corner building from its street intersection. Look down one street to see the right-hand vanishing point, and look down the cross street to see the left-hand vanishing point. After this, the professor mentioned about the history of the laws of optics. Back then, artists were unable to figure out how to accurately represent it, but they recognized the effect. There was no real understanding of how the physics of perspection worked, as they never got a good idea of the vanishing point. The last topic the professor discussed was the Renaissance, an era of rebirth of learning and science. He mentioned Filippo Brunelleschi, a 15th century Florentine architect who conducted several optical experiments and discovered the rules of perspective. Brunelleschi drew a very accurate picture of San Giovanni Baptistery in Florence, and this amazed all his acquaintances. The professor then mentioned another person named Donatello, an Italian artist. This artist used Brunelleschi method for accurate linear perspective, and this idea soon spread throughout Europe.